Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The DTC P0651, which indicates a malfunction related to sensor reference voltage B, is a diagnostic trouble code that affects certain Honda Civic models from 2011 to 2015. This error code typically implicates the vehicle's engine control module, ECM, as the central unit responsible for managing the car's electronic sensors and circuits. When this code is triggered, it suggests that there might be an issue with the voltage provided to specific sensors that rely on the reference voltage, which are essential for the vehicle's performance and operation. In particular, this could affect sensors such as the accelerator pedal position, APP sensor, the AC pressure sensor, and the fuel tank pressure, FTP sensor. These sensors play crucial roles in the engine's efficiency and emission controls. It is essential to follow a systematic troubleshooting process to identify and resolve the underlying issue with the electrical connections or components related to these sensors. The DTC P0651 is a fault signaling a malfunction in the sensor reference voltage, specifically a voltage issue affecting various sensors in the vehicle. The primary components involved include the APP sensor, AC pressure sensor, and FTP sensor, all crucial for the proper functioning of the vehicle's ECM. The APP sensor provides vital information regarding the position of the accelerator pedal, which directly influences engine performance and fuel efficiency. The AC pressure sensor monitors the refrigerant in the air conditioning system, ensuring optimal temperature control inside the vehicle. Lastly, the FTP sensor measures the fuel tank's pressure to assist in the vehicle's emission control system. All these sensors are typically located in the engine compartment, where they interface directly with the ECM and other systems. Issues in any of these areas may trigger the DTC P0651 error, leading to reduced vehicle performance and efficiency. Several factors may contribute to the triggering of DTC P0651. First and foremost, poor electrical connections can lead to faulty sensors, as the required voltage may not reach them effectively. These connections need to be checked meticulously, as resistance or breakpoints can create malfunctions. Secondly, loose terminals at the ECM can disrupt overall communication and sensor functionality. It's important to inspect these terminals to ensure they are properly secured and free from corrosion. Thirdly, any of the affected sensors, namely the APP sensor, AC pressure sensor, or FTP sensor, may also be inherently faulty and require replacing, as they can fail over time due to wear or damage. Additionally, wiring issues, particularly with the voltage constant current, VCC lines, may also lead to this error code. Therefore, a comprehensive examination of these possible causes is essential to accurately diagnose and remedy the situation. When DTC P0651 becomes active, drivers may notice several symptoms indicating an underlying electrical issue. One of the most immediate signs is that the check engine light in the dashboard will illuminate, alerting the driver that the vehicle requires inspection. Additionally, poor engine performance could be noticeable, as the miscommunication between the ECM and critical sensors may affect acceleration and idling. This malfunction can lead to a sluggish response from the engine, impacting driving experience. Furthermore, the air conditioning system may not function properly. Issues could arise in temperature regulation or even complete failure of the AC system if the AC pressure sensor is affected. Finally, there could also be unusual fuel efficiency as a result of the FTP sensor malfunctioning, causing emissions to exceed acceptable limits. Therefore, monitoring these symptoms can provide insight into whether DTC P0651 is the root cause. The first troubleshooting step to address DTC P0651 involves a simple verification of the problem. Begin by turning the ignition switch to the on position, which powers up the electronic systems without starting the engine. Following this action, the next step is to clear the DTC using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, a specialized tool designed for comprehensive vehicle diagnostics. After clearing the code, recheck the system using the HDS to see if any pending or confirmed DTCs reappear. If DTC P0651 appears once again, this confirms that the failure has replicated under these conditions, indicating that further investigation is necessary and that the problem is ongoing. Conversely, if the DTC does not reappear, this suggests it may have been an intermittent failure, and other components should be inspected for poor connections or loose terminals. This step is crucial as it establishes whether the issue is persistent or transient. In the second troubleshooting step for DTC P0651, you will focus on determining the potential failure area. Begin by turning the ignition switch to the lock position, ensuring that all electrical systems are powered down safely. Next, disconnect the connectors from the affected components, specifically the APP sensor, AC pressure sensor, and FTP sensor. This disconnection isolates these components from the ECM and allows a controlled environment for diagnostic testing. Once all connectors have been removed, turn the ignition switch back to the on position to power the system again. Following this, use the HDS to check for any pending or confirmed DTCs once more. If DTC P0651 is still indicated, this step indicates that the issue is likely within the VCC lines or other wiring issues related to these sensors. If the code does not appear, this suggests that the failure may lie within one of the disconnected components, prompting further checks in subsequent steps. The third troubleshooting step for DTC P0651 involves a targeted check of the individual sensors. Begin by reconnecting the previously disconnected components one at a time, starting with the APP sensor. As each sensor is reconnected, check for any pending or confirmed DTCs using the HDS. This methodical approach allows you to identify which specific sensor may be causing the P0651 code to trigger. If the DTC P0651 reappears after reconnecting a particular sensor, this indicates that the sensor is likely faulty and should be replaced. On the other hand, if no code is indicated, proceed to check for poor electrical connections or loose terminals at the ECM and the previously mentioned components. This reusable method helps isolate the issue to a specific sensor or improper wiring, paving the way for a more effective repair. The fourth troubleshooting step for DTC P0651 focuses on identifying potential shorted wires, particularly in the VCC lines. Start by power cycling again. Turn the ignition switch to the lock position before jumping the short circuit SCS line with the HDS. This procedure effectively prepares the system for accurate diagnostics. Subsequently, disconnect the ECM connectors, specifically connector A 49P, to isolate the ECM from the electrical system temporarily. The next step is to check for continuity between the test points and body ground individually, ensuring to follow all outlined test conditions. During this continuity check, you will examine the connections for both the APP sensor and the associated VCC terminals in the ECM connector. If continuity is found, this suggests a short in the VCC wire, necessitating repairs between the ECM and the affected disconnected parts. If no continuity exists, the next course of action involves determining if an ECM software update is needed or considering substituting the ECM with a known good module. Following the completion of repairs associated with DTC P0651, it's essential to conduct a verification process to ensure the issue has been resolved effectively. Start by turning the ignition switch to the lock position, and then carefully reconnect all previously disconnected connectors. After reconnecting components, turn the ignition switch to the on position to power the vehicle systems. The next step is to reset the ECM using the HDS, which reinitializes the onboard diagnostics and clears any stored codes. Following this reset, you should perform a check for any pending or confirmed DTCs using the HDS again. If DTC P0651 reappears, this indicates that the problem persists, and you should revisit the previous troubleshooting steps to identify any remaining issues. If no codes appear, it confirms the repairs have been successful, allowing the vehicle to operate without error. To prevent the reoccurrence of DTC P0651 and similar issues in the future, it's crucial to adopt a comprehensive preventive maintenance plan. Regular inspections of electrical connections, especially those linked to the ECM and related sensors, can help identify wear or corrosion before they lead to failures. Ensuring connectors are tight and free of debris can significantly enhance the longevity of the vehicle's electronic systems. Additionally, staying updated with ECM software releases can prevent incompatibilities that may introduce errors into the vehicle's operation. Establishing a routine for monitoring the performance of critical sensors, such as the APP, AC pressure, and FTP sensors, allows for early detection of any discrepancies. By implementing these preventive measures, the possibility of experiencing DTC P0651 may be minimized, leading to a more stable vehicle operation and better efficiency over time. In conclusion, the diagnosis and resolution of DTC P0651 requires a systematic and methodical approach. From the initial verification and troubleshooting steps through to potential replacements and final verification, each stage plays a critical role in effectively addressing the issue. The importance of checking both the sensors and the connections cannot be overstated, as faults in either area can cause disruptive malfunctions in the vehicle's performance. Additionally, understanding the significance of preventive maintenance can greatly help in avoiding future occurrences of DTCs. By adhering to these guidelines, Honda Civic owners can not only resolve issues when they arise, but also decrease the likelihood of similar faults developing down the line. A diligent approach ensures the longevity of the vehicle's performance and reliability, allowing for a better driving experience. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.